Hello students, this is Ms. Monroe and I'm here today to teach you some techniques you can use to add value to your artwork. A technique is a skill or way of doing something. Artists master and create new techniques to become better artists. Value is an element of art. You've probably heard the word in math lessons. The word value also has an art definition. The word value refers to how light or dark an artwork is. The darker a work of art is, the more value it has. The lighter it is, the less value it has. So today we're going to practice some techniques that you can use. And for this project, you can use a Sharpie, you could use a marker, a pencil, a mechanical pencil will also work, or even a ballpoint pen. Use what you have, be resourceful like always. The first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to recreate this sheet. You're going to need to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. Now, on my sheet, I did this by using a ruler. Now, I know not all of you have rulers at home, so you can use a straight edge or anything. You want something that's about 4 inches by 1 inch wide. However, I do know that you can be creative and you can use other items in your household. Like, for example, I made my 5 boxes, but instead of using a ruler, I used an old Starbucks gift card, my gold card. Or let's say you can't find anything with the straight edge in your home, you can also, for this project, I will let you trace circles. The big important part for this project is that you need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 circles, 5 rectangles. You get the picture. To make the circles, I literally traced the bottom of a bottle. If you have a water bottle, that will work. If you have a cup at home, for example, that will also work because the top or bottom of a cup is a circle. Now, the first thing after you have to do this is write value techniques at the top, and you're underneath value techniques, you're going to write dark and light, and you're going to have an arrow connecting the two because we're going to start dark and we're going to get lighter. And then, of course, like always, put your name on there. Now, the first technique is called hatching. And I know when you hear the word hatching, you're like, oh, like an egg. In most terms, yes, but in the art world, hatching refers to a type of mark you make for value. It is a type of line. It's a line that goes in one direction. So for this project, I'll model each step with a different tool. So my tool today, my medium, is a Sharpie marker for hatching. It's just lines that go in the same direction and only one direction. And you're going to go across, top to bottom. Now, some of you are like, wait a minute, does that mean instead of going straight up and down, I could do diagonal lines? As long as they are all going in the same direction, you are making a hatch mark. You are hatching. I just like going up and down because it's a shorter space on the space that I created. Now I'm going to start spreading them out because remember, we're going dark to light. Eventually, I'm not going to add anymore. Now, if I wanted to make this darker, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to add some more lines, or maybe make some of my lines thicker. And I'm going to stop and speed up so you can see that. There you have it, dark to light with the hatch mark. Then we go down. The second one is called cross hatching. Remember, you should probably write these down next to your section so you remember what they are called. Now, cross hatching is just like hatching, except the lines don't all go the same direction. You do want to build up, so you do want to fill a space first with lines going one direction. So I'm going to stop and put my one direction lines first. But what makes cross-hatching different from hatching is you're going to add more lines that go a different direction. So I have already gone up and down. That's out. What I can do is I can now go diagonally across. And remember, we're building it up. We want one side to be darker and one side to be lighter. And you can go as many different directions as you want. You just want to go all the way across, like I just did with the straight up and down lines. Then I'm going to go all the way almost across with my horizontal lines, and then, diagonal lines, and then I'm going to change it up. And there you have it. The more lines you add, the darker it gets. The closer the lines get, the less white is going to be showing through on the paper. Now, we are now moving on to stippling. Now, stippling, I'm actually going to switch to the other side. It usually works better with a smaller point. So if you have a pencil, that works pretty good. Ballpoint pen works pretty good. If you have a marker like this, be very careful because that is how you will ruin your marker. So, stippling is literally making dots, and you want to fill in the space. Just like always, just like the first one and the second one, we're keeping one side is going to be the lighter side and one side is going to be the darker side. And to make something with stippling darker and lighter is you're going to have your dots on the lighter side be more spaced apart, and your dots on the darker side are going to be more concentrated. They're going to be closer together. So, as you can see, I'm just adding my first layer of dots. Now, after this, I'm going to start adding more dots. And the more dots you add, notice how it's already starting to see a difference. This side, it looks already darker than that side. I'm going to stop and speed up. And as you can see, stippling is one of the most time-consuming ways to add value, but it does look pretty nice. I am going to leave this one like this. I would like to see some more value here, up to about here, but then the rest of it is pretty good. So I'm going to move on to the next type of value technique, and that is called scumbling. Now, scumbling, the easiest way for me to describe scumbling is it's like when you scrub a dish, or when you're cleaning, when you're waxing on and you're waxing off. It's pretty much circles. And I'm using my pen right now, and I'm just putting down my first layer, and then I'm going to speed it up. But pretty much the looser and less circles you have, the lighter it's going to be, and the closer and tighter the circles get, the darker this side's going to be. So I'm going to stop and there you go. This is probably one of the quickest and easiest ways to add value, and you would especially probably use this technique if you were trying to make something have a certain texture to it, which I will talk in a later episode about adding texture and using what certain lines you should use when adding texture. So we've done hatching, we've done cross hatching, we've done stippling, and now we've done scumbling. Then the last one is you have to make your own. I would like you to make your own technique, your own type of way to add value. Remember, one side is going to be dark and the other side is going to be light. You could choose to use a certain type of line, but remember, how all of these work is the more you build up these lines or marks, the darker it's going to look. The less you use, the lighter a certain side is going to look. Notice how my lines start to get closer together or thicker. It's darker, and then it gets lighter. I stop crossing. It's super light. I stop making my dots and starts getting really, really light. Less circles for my scumbling, the lighter it gets. So this one, I am going to, instead of making circles, I'm going to pretend, I'm just going to make random shapes. Sort of like triangles or stars all over and over. And I already know that how I build up my value and how I want to have less value is by having less. Now I want to build up the value is by having more concentrated, less white showing through my paper or whatever color paper I drew my project on. Now the reason why we are doing this is so that I can tell you to use a certain technique in a future project, and you will know automatically what I am referring to because you would have completed this. So there you have it. So I would like you to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different techniques I have taught you for. The last one is your own, and they need to go from dark to light. You need to have your name. You need to have value techniques. You're going to take a picture of this. You're going to post it on our classroom so I can look and see how you have progressed. Look forward to some other future technique lessons. Remember, all artists practice to create and perfect certain techniques to become better. The more you practice, the better you get. Same with math, same with reading, same with art. And tune in next time. This is Ms. Monroe signing out.